Kesh, you've been bowling a lot in unusual positions recently, like giving the ball and it's quite new and that sort of thing. Can you talk to us a bit about the thinking behind that and kind of tactically the planning that's gone into those things?
Yeah, I think Leachy turned it with an old ball, so we felt that maybe with a harder newer ball it might bounce a little bit more. Full credit to Dean for obviously implementing that. He did have a chat to me in the change room before we went on to field for that short period, and he said, you know what, just be ready, the opportunity may come to bowl with a harder ball. Fortunately enough, it did, and it did pay dividends.
Good. Anyone else?
Was that, I think Dean mentioned in the aftermath of that game, that was a very specific plan to Zach Crawley, because he's kind of perceived to have a weakness against left arm spin.
Yeah, I think Dean's obviously very stats orientated in terms of what's come up from the analysts, and sort of saw the opportunity with the ball turning, and yeah, I think he sort of used that as his guide and gauge to sort of combat that.
Thanks. We'll take some online. We'll go Mia, Zahir, then Ken.
Thank you very much. Thank you. Good afternoon, guys. Just almost of a follow-up on Firdousa's. You didn't obviously bowl much or you didn't bowl at all in the first innings, got 12 overs in the second innings, but you played a crucial role in getting the ball rolling with the first 2 wickets there. Are you expecting to bowl a little bit more at Old Trafford, and just what are conditions like from what you've seen so far?
I would love to bowl all the time. Yeah, I think the seamers did an amazing job, so full credit to them, and I know my time will come where I'm presented with the ball to bowl my spell. In terms of the conditions, yeah, we haven't seen too much because the cover's just been on for pretty much most of the day. Fingers crossed the rain subsides and get an opportunity to look at the wicket. But I'm sure that if the seamers don't strike or there's a period for me to bowl, I'm sure Dean will throw me the ball and hopefully I can have a nice long spell.
Thank you.
Thanks, Amir. Zahir?
Hi, Kesh. Probably more serious cricket questions coming around, but you were at Old Trafford last night. You enjoy the game, and just tell us the experience and compared to the last time you were there when you lost 4-0.
Sure. Yeah, that's a bit of a jab. Yeah, I think the best team won last night, as you saw, Zahir. But yeah, I think the atmosphere was phenomenal and electric, something that you don't experience every single day. And just to be able to witness, a sporting event and a derby of that magnitude, I'm very privileged to have been in that position. But yeah, it was really amazing compared to the 4-0 loss we took at the start of the season.
Thanks, Zahir. We're going to go Ken, then we'll go Telford, and then to Craig online.
Thanks, Lucy. Hi, Keshav. You played a vital innings at Lords, and along with Anrik Norkeer and Marco Jansen. I know when Mark Boucher was a player, he was given the responsibility of working with the bowlers in terms of improving their batting, and I think he did a lot of that at the Titans as well. It really seems in the Proteas now that there's been a big focus on you guys batting there in the lower order, and you all seem to have really come on leaps and bounds in terms of your batting. Is that fair comment? Has a lot of work been put in?
Yeah, I think when Bouch did take over, he did really want to work on our middle to lower order to contribute runs, because we know how vital those 50, 60 runs can be from 7, 8, 9, 10, 11 going down. As you see now, if the guys observe in the nets, you see a lot of our bowlers actually spending a lot of time facing bowlers, getting throws from both Bouch, Samo, Onti. The guys are really putting the hours and effort with us. So, it's nice to see we're getting the reward, but, a lot of it's due to the hard work that Bouch has obviously implemented with us, as well as Samo. I think Samo's been an exceptional man for our batting unit as a whole, but, encouraging our lower order to make sure we're topping up on our skill and taking care of the nitty-gritties that we need to, and it's good to see the dividends being paid now.
Thanks, Ken. Telford?
It's on a similar theme. South Africa's batting has made a habit almost of the middle order. The middle and the lower order gets almost the bulk of the runs. I'm sure any top order or any batter will say, I want to score as many runs as I can, but is this a workable method? Maybe the top order doesn't get that many runs, but they know that there's a very short tail and a lot of runs to come from the likes of you. Do you think that's a reasonable way to go about things, or would you prefer more centuries?
Yeah, I think as a batting unit, we want to score more centuries. It's not a case of the guys knowing that they're going to rely on the lower to middle order to score runs. I think in our top 6, top 7, the guys are very driven to score big centuries. It's probably just maybe first game of the series, but I'm sure come the second and third tests, we're going to see hopefully a few centuries. I think SJ, we showed really good signs of, just application in the way he went about his business, as well as Dean. I think the opening partnership really set the foundation for us. I think the middle order as well probably didn't fire in this test, but we know the quality they possessed, and they've been working really hard. I think the game in Kent, they showed amazing signs of what they can do, and it's just about implementing, which I'm sure they will get right for this test match.
Thanks. Craig?
Thanks, Lucy. Hi, Kesh. What kind of backlash are you expecting from England? They obviously didn't perform to their own high standards. Are you expecting anything different from them in this test?
We know England's a fierce competitor, and competitors rather, and we know they'll do everything to bounce back. I think any team in a position where they 1-0 down in a series have the potential to bounce back. To be honest, we're just focusing on our plans and processes. It's pretty much what we did the first game in terms of how we executed and how we went about our cricket, and hopefully we can replicate much of that in this test match and be on the winning side of things again.
Cool. We're going to take the last couple from the floor and the last couple from online. So we'll start on the floor.
Yes, are there any particular memories from the test match here in 2017 that you're bringing into this game?
We lost that test match, so not too many memories. But yeah, I think as a batting unit, we did relatively well in the second innings here. Obviously, the first innings didn't go according to plan, but I think there's not many people that have played a test match here at Old Trafford, which is a good thing. You have that youth and energy bringing back, and people coming sort of from a clean slate as such. I think if you look at Lords, it was pretty much a similar situation where I think a handful of us had actually played at Lords previously. And having the youngsters around you motivating you to not carry any baggage or anything from previously, I think that helped a lot. So hopefully that's much of the same in this test match.
Can I just also ask you about a little bit further back in your earlier days when you started bowling spin? Was it you were a pace bowler to start with, where you then changed to spin? Did you have particular role models among South African spinners? When I was 12 years old, 13 years old, I was a fast bowler and actually decided to be a rebel because the coach got upset with me, so I decided to bowl spin at the time just to irritate him even more. I never looked back. But yeah, sorry, to answer your question. Sorry, the second part. I was just wondering whether you had any role models.
Yeah, definitely. Obviously you looked up to, Paul Adams, Paul Harris. I think Paul Harris has always been someone that's been very close to me. He's always helped me with my technical side of things, but also from a mental point of view, I thoroughly enjoyed the way he thought about the game in terms of plans and things. So, he's always someone that will pick up the phone without me having to ask and just give me advice and stuff, which I'm very grateful for. And then obviously internationally, you have your various other spinners, the late Shane Warne. I think the way he outsmarted batsmen through his character and persona is something that, it's hard to find these days in cricketers or any sportsman. So, you sort of look into that and use that as your guide.
Thanks, Patron.
Kesh, you were here in that 2017 run, as you say, didn't go according to plan. What's different this time, do you think?
Yeah, I think we're more sound as a unit. I think we know what to do and go about our business a lot better, and there's more clarity and role definition within the team. And I think that's been Dean's sort of go-to mantra from the time he's taken over as the Test captain. I remember we had meetings before we left to the West Indies as his first official tour, and there was a lot of clarity put into place. And I think the guys just needed that clarity, and you chose in our performances in the last, call it, 2 years, I'd say, or a year. So it's been really good to see, and I know he's a driven character, he's a very straightforward character. And I think that's what the guys needed in this team environment, just a little bit of a shake-up, and it's sort of paying the dividends that it needed. I think there's a lot of youth, so there's a lot of guidance from Dean as well. I think his character and persona obviously feeds off onto the youngsters, and things are in line from a discipline point of view and a culture point of view, and it's showing in performance now.
Great. We're going to take the last 2 questions from Mark and then wrap up with Kanyiso.
Can I just follow up on Craig's question about potential English backlash? Do you feel that
the margin of the victory gave you a super psychological blow. Do you feel you kind of really hurt them in a confidence kind of way, and that they, you know, they're going to be a little bit edgy coming into this test?
I'd like to think so, but having said that, I think they've played some really good cricket and fought themselves out of situations where they were probably not in favour of winning test matches and test series in the last year. So to answer your question, I don't really think so. We know what they're capable of. They have some really world-class players within their team, but I think we're just going to focus on our job at hand and, you know, like I said, hopefully come off on the winning side of things.
Thanks, Mark. And then finally, Kanyiso.
Thank you very much, Mr. KESHAV. Good afternoon and good afternoon to everyone there. KESHAV, how are you guys as a team processing the new Future Tours program and how it has cut down test matches and so on and so forth?
Sure, I haven't thought that far ahead because we're so engaged in the test matches. Yeah, but I think the decisions made by the board and whoever's put up the fixtures is for the best interest of cricket, more especially in our country. So, you know, they're the deciders of that, and we just here to play the game. So yeah, sorry, I can't answer too much more than that because I'm actually not quite sure of the fixtures that we have ahead.